All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. We're outside here straightway. We have a few things going on here today. The heat index is going to be over 105. I'm sure that many of you are experiencing the heat wave, unlike some of the news sources that we're getting, where they're the driest place on earth received 36 inches of snow.
If you don't mind, I'd like to interject here for 1 second. Speaking of the driest place on earth, desert land, getting snowed on. Not something you hear about every day or every winter or even, maybe not even once in a lifetime. We just had another 7.1 to whatever earthquake right in the area of Japan where the Fukushima nuclear, garbage is happening over there, where the 9.0 hit earlier this year. I've been following the earthquakes, volcanic activity, all that stuff, and if you add up all of the 7.0 or higher earthquakes per year, on average, there's around 14 or 15 a year according to the USGS. That's average. Last year, we broke records at somewhere around 21 or 22, and I decided before I state that it was a broken record, let me go back as far back in history as I can go to see, was there any other time in which there were more than 21 or 22 7.0s or higher, and I couldn't find any. So this, although Pastor barely mentions this, just to let you know he is paying attention to these things, but I'm going to go into some detail. We are getting ready, according to the Webbot report, to have, and in some places already experiencing this, by the way, what appears to be, instead of 4 seasons, kind of just 2, where it's kind of summer and then kind of goes to winter, and you don't really have a fall or a spring like you thought you would. And even last year, again, we had places that were record-breaking cold, and right next door practically, in a different county, or right next to the state over even, record-breaking heat. Same day. Record-breaking cold over here, record-breaking heat over here. So there's a lot of stuff happening, which, by the way, if you think this whole thing that's going down now is just going to be financial, it's just going to be gold and silver going up, it's just going to be the dollar having problems, right? Just financial, generally speaking, and that kind of thing. I'm telling you now, this is going to be an unprecedented type of event, which is really going to be multiple events. It's going to be the economy, it's going to be the dollar, it's going to be gold and silver, it's going to be all that stuff, it's going to be wars and all that stuff too. It's also going to be something new that nobody has ever thought of or prepared for as far as the mainstream goes and governments go and that kind of thing. You and I, people who are watching this stuff, we know. Or at least some of us do, and hopefully you'll know now if you don't when I'm done talking. But Mother Earth has a monkey wrench up her sleeve in which the powers that be and the elite want to push this global world order and everything on us. And around the same time, you're going to see, again, these earthquakes, crazy weather, all kinds of stuff taking place and disrupting the world so much that the powers that be are not going to be able to cope with it. They're not going to be able to grasp this and do anything with it because the people are going to be in such ruins with dealing with all these things, the flooding, all that stuff. It's going to get worse. There will be worse floods. Next year is supposedly supposed to be one of the most brutal winters. Even though you already thought last year was one of the most brutal winters, this year, according to the Webbot, as well as the other research with the sun and stuff that I'm following, supports a global cooling cycle coming. But we are leaving the hot cycle, aka global warming, which is fake. It's just the sun reacting a certain way due to things deep out into space, basically. Milky Way galaxy, right? The center, we have a black hole or whatever. That is causing the problems with our sun. It is causing the sun to react due to things that are happening deep in the center of the galaxy, which is cyclical. Happens all the time, except it takes thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and by chance, one of those cycles is 5,125 years long, in which the solar system reacts to something in the center of the galaxy. And by chance, also, that's the exact date the Mayan calendar got started, this December 21st, 2012, 5,125 years ago was day 1 of the calendar. They wanted to let you know a little important information regarding the sun, so they created all these little petroglyphs and hieroglyphs and all these things with an angry sun. And people think, oh, they were just drawing. You know, those are just myths. That's nonsense. No, you're the one that's nonsense. Mainstream is nonsense. They were trying to warn you of a time period that would be coming that's going to affect you greatly. And I will stop there and let the pastor continue speaking.
We had a cruiser ship turned over in Russia where a whole bunch of children just, died catastrophic deaths. But what I want to come in here and talk to you about this morning briefly here for a second is I want to try once again, to try to get you to understand and see what's going on here in the time that we're living in now. Listen to me very close. See, when you understand and when you can see what's going on, then you'll have the proper tools, because having the right information will actually help you to prepare for what's coming. Now, a lot of people here in the United States of America, they're very apathetic, they're very complacent, and they just want to, act like that nothing is going to happen, everything is going to stay the same. And then they use reverse psychology and they put it back on you and they say, well, you're just too pessimistic. Well, first of all, number one, I don't have any need whatsoever at all to be pessimistic. I'm a realist. That's what that is.
And Pastor, since you said you're a realist, may Realist News step in for a second and say this. People are complacent. It's the nature of the beast. Beast being human beings. That'll never happen in my lifetime. The US dollar is the most powerful dollar in the world. What the heck are you talking about? It'll never collapse. Yet you can show them a chart. Stop them dead in their tracks. Stop right now and look at this chart. That shows the US dollar back in the day way up here. And then it starts going down very rapidly. And a funny thing happens too. If you look at gold and silver, same time frame, they start down here low and then go all the way up. It's kind of the opposite. Imagine that. So the reason people are complacent, I'm going to say, is because human beings, by the very nature of the bozos, is that they're reactionary. No one says, you know what? The Titanic just hit something. I think I better go man a lifeboat, get it ready just in case. No. We've been told that this ship is unsinkable, unflippable, can't be stopped. It will make it. You're crazy. I don't care what we just hit. I'm going back downstairs to party with the boys and girls and have a good time. Me, Realist News, and Pastor Dowell, people like us, the tiny 0.001%, let's go hang out by that lifeboat. And while we're out here, let me go have another second look at that hole in the side of the ship to get a little assessment going on. You know what? It's huge. It's gaping. Matter of fact, you can see it's taking on water. Let's start manning these lifeboats. And because we're nice guys, we'll go ahead and man a bunch more other ones as much as we can in the meantime for these dumb, foolish people who don't want to listen, who just told us we're idiots for even saying such a thing and went back down to party. Let's undo the ropes and stuff and just get them ready for those idiots. Only to find out, after we got in our boat, and they're fighting over the other remaining boats, the boats that we had ready for them fell into the water and nobody got in them. Just went empty. That's what we're dealing with. But people are always going to be reactionary. We didn't see this coming. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. When actually it's not. If you look at history, it always happens. There's always manipulation in the markets. There's always this higher power above governments and stuff. It's always there. It comes and goes, just like a wave. Up and down, same thing. It's just a cycle. So you better listen to the pastor when he tells you to get ready, start preparing, get your food storage going, try to get some land if you got time now. Get your land, get this thing going. At the worst case, if you can't do any of that, then you probably should get a food storage going. Of course, you're going to need guns and ammos, not to fight the government or none of that nonsense. You're going to need them to fight people who figured out possibly you got that food. Why aren't you skinny when the rest of us are over here struggling? Why do you always look like you're well fed? How come we never see you outside eating with us over at the government handout place down there, the rationing or whatever, right? If something bad, if this thing really gets that bad. well, you're going to need to protect yourself, and that's what this is for. But having freeze-dried foods and things like that, which we signed up, we have every month. We already bought our bulk that we wanted, as I've mentioned many times, and we pay a monthly fee, same company, and we've looked through the stuff that they sent us and said, well, we could use some more fruits, a couple more of these types of vegetables, all freeze-dried stuff. Definitely a lot more of this. Okay, so we log into the website, or under our account. The next 3 months, I want this, 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 and this. My budget is $70 a month, and whatever amount that equals per month, send it to me. And I'll get a box every single month with something in it that was on that list until I'm done, or in our case, we just keep going. We don't care. We're going to keep having that come in every month. Even if we have more than we thought we needed, we'll switch it to something else. It's not a bad idea to do that. So anyways, I will let the great pastor continue.
Realist. So, but if I don't tell you these things, if we don't warn you about these things right here, then you will not have at least an avenue, a thought, a doorway open up in your mind to where you can prepare to see what's getting ready to take place here on this earth. Now, we've got NASA getting ready to shut down its space program. And of course, what I told you many moons ago, I told you that the powers that be, they're finished with this country.
And Pastor, if you don't mind, again, if I may interrupt, since you mentioned NASA shutting down and how I study these things out in the solar system, space, Webbot, all these things, Mayan calendar, ancient civilizations, the Aztecs, the Incas, all that stuff. I studied all that stuff for years. Not to claim to be an expert, but I was led there through my, gasping for knowledge, if you will. And it's very interesting that we're just now on the heels of that end date of the Mayan calendar, 2012, whatever. We're no longer going to be going forward with the NASA space program, all that. We'll subcontract it out to Russia or something, right? Okay. And all this is happening at the end of this great 5,125-year cycle. Approximately a year later is when the cycle ends, technically, maybe a year and a half, whatever, let's say. And they're going to choose right now to end this thing. We don't want to send anybody up in space. Is it possible that whatever energies are coming from deep out in the solar system, from the center of the galaxy, you're not really going to want man up in there, or there's some other reason one way or the other? Maybe the sun's going to become reacting so violently that they can't afford to put people up in space because it's going to end up frying them somehow, energetically or through these CMEs, plasma blasts off the sun, whatever. I don't know, I'm just talking here. I find it very interesting that the greatest, quote, greatest country on the face of the earth, most powerful, most prosperous, most money, most world's reserve currency, most prestige, or prestigious. We're going to go ahead and cut that NASA space program. You don't think there's stuff out in space that, we've just scratched the surface of things to do and look and whatever in space. Not to say that the last 30 or 40 years that they've been sharing the information they've been getting, NASA, with us sheeple. They've been hoarding it themselves and giving it to the government, of course, who are their masters, and using that information possibly for technology or things. Well, I don't even know some of the reasons. Just imagine what would happen if they said, well, there's actually life for sure, positively. We found bones or something on Mars or some other planet. They've already done this and we don't even know it because they've never been. They pretend like they went up a couple of times. Oh, we landed on the moon too. Believe us? Yeah, okay. And then end the discussion. Now we're not allowed to pay attention anymore. They're doing stuff that we don't know about. But if they found bones, listen, and I'm not saying they did, but if they did, and of course they're not going to share that with us. What would that do to some of the religions out there? Wait a minute. How can we have bones on other planets? And, even more important, forget religion for a second. If there's bones on other planets, that means they got there somehow, and probably from Earth, which means there probably was a greater, more advanced civilization than those of us today who were capable of doing that, which is probably why the government wouldn't want to share any information with you and me. They want to hoard it themselves. Interesting. So anyways, my main comment is I find it very interesting at the end of this great cycle, grand cycle, Mayans, Inca, Aztecs, Egyptians all had this basic date, except I think it was the Incas that said, no, it's not December 21st, 2012. It's actually October 28, 2011. It's the only one that I can find that supports that date. Everything else I study still supports December 21st, 2012. But to be honest with you, because they're practically a year apart, does it really matter that they're 1 year apart on a 5,125 year cycle? No, not in my mind. So NASA has chosen one heck of a time to go ahead and shut down the space station, and I'm sure, in my mind at least, that it has nothing to do with, oh yeah, we've accomplished everything we need to accomplish, and we'll start it back up in 20 years or 10 years. And it's not even going to be, well, budget's too high or whatever. Nope, it's not that either. They're shutting it down due to whatever going on in outer space, near Earth, whatever it is, and they don't want us to know about it, and they're shutting the whole program down. It was only 2 or 3 years ago that, I don't know if it was the Pentagon, maybe I think it was the Department of Defense, comes out. I might have even done a video on Facebook at the time. I remember doing one where they said, we are now classifying certain, I guess, inbound objects to Earth, which could include meteor, this, that, common things. You're now classifying something that's been public, knowledge that you would always tell us about through NASA and stuff. Just nonsense, doesn't even matter. All of a sudden, it's now a national security issue, and you're going to classify it. Again, why would they do this just a couple, 2, 3 years before that great end date where the sun is supposedly going to get really, really violent, of course, causing violent weather right now? That's all I got to say. Pastor, please continue.
I don't tell you that because I want you to fearmonger and have fear in your hearts or anything, and I don't tell you how bad things are, the dollar's getting ready to collapse. I do not tell you all of this stuff because I want you to be in a fearful state, because fearful people, they're paralyzed. They won't do anything. They'll sit back on their do-nothings, and then they'll end up perishing. I want you to be proactive. That's the reason why I come here and give it as information. So when you see all the industries through the outsourcing of GAFTA, CAFTA, NAFTA, and all this other stuff that came in under the Bill Clinton administration, that was a New World Order making its moves to letting you know that first we got to implement these things in stages so we can get this country gutted out. Now, if you look, just look, we have the majority of the major car industries gone, overseas, outsourced. We have the majority of the industries. We're no longer what you'll call a military-industrial complex nation anymore. If you notice, all the major corporations, Dell, Walmart, and you can go on and on and on and on.
Speaking of outsourced stuff, the company I work for, along with many others that do the same thing we do, my company, they sell business class phone systems. Pretty expensive stuff. Again, business class, not something you would ever have inside your house. Possibly not even a small office. Bigger than that. Well, it's been years now, but they also, hey, let's outsource to India. Cheap labor. Fantastic, more profit. Same business model as the rest of them. So when we have trouble, hey, I was on the Avaya website, right? Avaya is the company that is the main phone vendor one that we sell. Avaya's website is crap right now. I can't get on. Joe, they call IT. Joe, can you, is something wrong with are we having a problem with our internet connection? That's first word out of the mouth. We have a problem with the internet connection? No, why? Can't, Avaya site won't come up. Did you try another website before you called me? Well, no. Try another website and see if it comes up. Oh, yeah, Google comes up, Yahoo, MSN. So it must be Avaya then, huh? Yeah. And by the way, because I'm so used to these calls, if you ever have any trouble with an Avaya website, any of the portals, it's their problem. Pretty much always. I've never had it like, oh, yeah, our internet was having a problem. Never. But, of course, call me because I'm IT, so, I'll walk you through some steps or whatever, but you're going to end up calling their support team. And by the way, because I've been through this before, immediately request Tier 2 or Tier 3 help. Tier 3 if you can get it right away. Oh, why is that? Because you're going to get stuck talking to an Indian who's reading from a script based off of your problem. Not based off of his knowledge of, oh, I know what that is or I know why that happened. It's simply I call in, I hit OK to log in and this message comes up. Okay. Please note, you must be using Internet Explorer version 6, 7, or 8 or higher. Yeah, I am. I know that. Okay. Okay. Please make sure your JavaScript is updated all the way. Dude, I told you. Call and immediately ask for Tier 3 help, because they're going to bypass the Indians and go to an American somewhere, possibly in England, because they also have a... I think they're actually out of England, Avaya, technically. But you'll get it solved like that. So a lot of times they don't want to listen. I don't want to ask for... I'll just go through the regular support. Okay, we will... So then it turns from talking, which you can't understand what they're saying, as he says, to emailing. Here's the program link. Here's where you download the program you were looking for. Thank you. You click the link, and it takes you to a page that isn't actually a website. It's an internal link website, only internal to wherever they're at. In India, or through Avaya's VPN into the main corporate network, where nobody's allowed in unless you work there. So these bozos are sending us a link to an inside corporate address that we couldn't get to if our life depended on it. Please let me know if this fixes it. No, it doesn't fix it. You sent me an invalid link, and I said, Joe... Oh, my phone's ringing. What's up? Can you come in here for a second? I got an email trying to get this program installed. Oh, they finally sent you the link after a week? Seriously. Yeah, exactly. I got it, finally. Let's get this thing installed. I'll be right there. Click on the link. Page can't be displayed. That's not a valid website. That's an internal link to a corporate network. What in the heck are these bozos doing? Email back. You sent us an internal link to your network. We cannot collect the link. It should be www.avaya-something.com. You are sending us / server name. That won't work. Couple days later, 2-3 days later, reply. How about now? It's the same damn link. There's no way you just sent the same link, made me wait 3 days, and sent me the same link as if you couldn't see it in the previous email you sent me. Why? Because you don't have any intelligence on these matters. You're not a technical person. You don't belong in technical support. You don't belong at the first bozo level of help desk. Because you're reading from a script in India and doing the same thing you did 3 days ago, because you're only reading from a script and you don't know. You can't make that connection. You don't have any critical thinking because you don't have any information on these things. You know nothing about it. It'd be like me trying to talk to you right now about quantum physics. I know nothing about that. I've read a tiny few pieces of things here and there. Couldn't dare do it. So don't call me expecting answers on quantum physics, because if you do, I'm gonna pull an Indian higher move on you and read from a script and make it up, basically. So anyways, that's what has happened to America. So if and when China pulls the plug on America, specifically China, forget the rest of them, everything pretty much on the store shelves goes away, except food. But even some foods would go away too. But everything else would be gone. The business model now of China through Walmart is, man, that hammer or that saw or whatever it is I can get over at home, man, it's only $35. I used to pay $50 if it was American made. Hey, I'll take it. But hold on a minute. How long did that American one last you? Oh, forever. I still got it. It still works. I just can't get the blades anymore because they don't make them anymore. Oh. So then you get the $35 China special, Walmart, last a week, 2 weeks, a few months, whatever. Then it's trash. Doesn't work. Did you get the $10 warranty when we tried to sell this to you the first time at the register? No, I kind of figured there'd be at least a year warranty with it or whatever. No, sorry about your luck. Well, then again, you know what? That's okay. It was only $35. I'll go shell out another $35. And it becomes common practice now that, well, it's just such and such dollars. Pff, buy another one. Oh, your TV went out? Pff, it's not even worth getting fixed nowadays. They're so cheap, you can buy another one, which is true. But at least with the TV, they're not breaking left and right. There's still some good quality, and a lot of that came from Japan anyways. But the China stuff, which is completely filling up our shelves, is complete trash. It doesn't last long, and the Chinese have a business model of, it'll last a little while, they'll need more. They'll have to buy more from us. It's kind of like the pharmaceutical industry and the healthcare industry. We'll keep these people sick. Yes, we have cancer cures. Yes, we have AIDS cure. We have cures for everything. But we don't dare release them because there goes our business model, our profit model. It all goes out the window. We got to keep these people coming back to us over and over and over. The same people. We don't want to cure one person and then they're done. We need that same person to keep coming back and coming back and coming back. We got your cure. We got your fix. It's not really a cure. It is just a treatment, which is why it is called a treatment. It doesn't cure it. It treats it. It makes it go away. It makes you feel a little better for the time being. But you still got it. You still got the problem. So that's the Chinese business model now. Let's just keep these people coming back. We'll sell them garbage. They'll buy it, use it, break it, buy another one, use it, break it. And it's not too expensive to where they're really pissed off. They're still upset that they had to buy it, and by the second or third time of buying it, you realize with this amount of money I've spent, I could have bought one of an American model, had there been one, and never looked back. It would have been working this whole time, and I'd be perfectly happy right now. But because it's just $35, man, it's not a $100 model like an American one would cost. It's $35. It broke. Yeah, it lasted 4 months. It broke. I got another one. And you're going to keep doing that over and over and over again. And there's nothing you could do about it because you don't have another choice to go somewhere else in America. You can't just get pissed off and say, damn it, I'll teach you China and Walmart. I'm going to buy the American brand. Screw you guys. Oh, there is nothing in America. When did that happen? Kind of caught you off guard there, didn't it? Well, probably not, because you can see everything you pick up on the store shelf is made in China. So anyways, that's all I got to say for right now. And I'm going to let Pastor Dowell continue his speech to everybody, because it's a good little speech. And I just had to do this video response.
There used to be a time that Walmart used to be all about American when the old man Sam Walton was living. Now it's all about Wall China. It's just China Mart. And so you've got all these industries, major industries. They all are going back overseas, and we're losing jobs. Now, isn't this amazing? Because we have Timothy Geithner, who is one of the deceivers, who actually got on C-SPAN and the news networks and actually told the truth that, you know, our financial future is very grim. It's very grim. It's dim. And it's not looking good for us whatsoever at all. Now, these are the people who have desensitized you, have tried to give you a false hope to make you think that things are going to be okay, when in all actuality it's not going to be okay. I know that me being a preacher, and just by the mere fact I'm a pastor, that already automatically shuts many of you down. You don't even want to hear it anymore from that point on. But I understand that, you know, when I get on here and I tell you this stuff, you have to listen to Pastor Dowell, because I'm different than all the rest of these preachers and teachers. I could care less about religion. I could care less about these religious preachers and teachers, especially the people who are involved in sun worship or who attend church on Sunday. I don't want to have nothing to do with them at all, because they're deceivers. And I ask you to do the research so that you can prepare yourself and your family. So we have all these industries, and we no longer have too many Americans making $30 and $40 an hour, because they're all overseas. You call up anything for customer service, what you get somebody speaking broken English that you can't even figure out what they're trying to say, and you get so frustrated you even hang up the telephone. So if you don't understand what that means when NASA's shutting down the space program, it's a sign to tell you that the powers that be, meaning the people who have the influence and the money, they're finished with this country. It's over with. It's done. Now, if you have that information, then you can properly prepare yourself for this upcoming pending economic judgment, as well as everything that is going on around us here in this world. In our time right now, here in America, you know, I'm not like a lot of these people advocate flee Babylon, because Babylon is now worldwide. It's an economic system. You're not going to run to what you call a safe place here in this earth looking for safety. The only safe place that there is in the Messiah. And I know that many of you don't want to hear that, but that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. But at least you have a mind to get ready to get prepared. So what do you still need to be doing? You still, number one, need to have a relationship with the Father. Number two, you need to prepare yourself, and you need to hedge yourself against all the mess that's going on out here today. You need to still, if you can afford gold, you need to get it. You need to get silver, as well as you need to be working hard, working very hard to get out of debt. You need to free yourself from this beast system and starve it as much as possible. When you go out, buy fruits and vegetables, not from the stores that are out here. Buy it from some farmers. Go to a farmer's market and buy it from people who grow it on their own land and help support the system, because whether you like it or not, The United States of America, as I prophesied and told us 14 years ago, is going to become a third world country, and Walmart is going to become the distribution center for the New World Order. That's what I said 14 years ago. Is that right, Brother Rich?
That's right.
So, you know, since we understand this and we believe in the Most High, we've prepared ourselves. That's where the inception of Straightway comes from. That's where the understanding of Straightway comes from. It comes from reading Scripture, understanding it, and now we're implementing it and we're doing it. You see, the biggest deceiver that there is one who tells you what you want to hear, and then they continue to feed you with what you want to hear, so that you are motionless. You have no action in your life whatsoever at all to prepare. Your best friend in life is one that will rebuke you, one that will reprove you, and one that will correct you, not one that will tell you what you want to hear or afraid to hurt your feelings, your sorry feelings, and your sorry emotions. So that's the reason why I come on here to talk to us a clear voice with clarity. Because, hey, I see that right now it seems like it's so quiet, but it is always quiet before a storm. It always is quiet before a storm. So they're finished with this country, and when you have that understanding, you can begin to prepare. I hope that many of you are really, truly getting a bumper crop in your garden. You're doing some canning. You're still buying food. Remember, let's get back on this. And also, you need to continue to keep storing food, regardless, because it's not going to happen. We're only one catastrophe away here in America right now from a disaster. Can you imagine a major highway gets shut down in this country? What would happen when all these trucks stop running to these stores? That's the reason why we talk about survival. That's the reason why we talk about preparedness. That's the reason why myself and Pastor Joe Fox, we get on there and we make these videos and stuff, because we're trying to help you prepare, not for if the whole Gestapo, communist, New World Order is going to come down and take your whole livelihood and stuff, to prepare for in and out of everything. But to do that, you have to be armed. Your mind has to be armed with knowledge, and you have to be armed with truth. And when you get this information, it is there to help you to take the next steps, the proper steps. So look at exactly what's going on. Do not trust in people who do a lot of talking, but their footprint and their footstep, their signature does not line up with what's coming out of their mouth. They are deceivers and anti-Messiahs or anti-Christ. Pay attention to those who are not only hearing, but they are doers, because this thing is going to shut down. I hope I've been able to say something here this morning to help encourage your hearts, to give you some direction, and to help you prepare for this upcoming economic collapse. I bless each and every last one of you. Y'all have a wonderful, beautiful day. We're getting back to work. It's very hot here. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning here at Straightway. So we're going to be getting at it, and I hope you get prepared to yourself. You just heard the truth, and that is the truth. Straightway.